everybody? Henry Johnson here, back at it again from Digital Home. And today I wanted to talk to you guys. So I go to a lot of different networking events all around northern New Jersey, New York City, etc. And one of the events I go to is heavily focused around home flippers. The reason is because, I think they're somebody who should really be implementing technology into their homes, right? They're building the future of our home landscape, a lot of them, right? Especially the ones who are flipping a lot more homes. And just from talking to them, I find that a lot of people flipping homes don't think about home technology in terms of implementing into their homes. And I honestly think, and I know I'm biased, but I think it's a mistake. I think they're missing a big area to improve and help their business. And really I wanted to talk about it today. So, right, I get it. When you're flipping a home, everything is about, making money at the end of it, right? And when it comes to that, you have to think about, how do I use my money the best? And then, make it so I have the biggest gap between money I spent and my, after repair value, right? So how do I keep that that gap the biggest? Because that's your profit. And I understand that, right? And what I think a lot of flippers don't think about, especially like the more the flippers who are newer to building homes, is that there are other expenses that go into a house other than just the repairs. And I think really where home automation can help is offsetting some of those later costs, right? So yes, you have your repair costs, but then also later into the sale, you have things like your property. Later into the build is you have things like your property taxes, right? You have your closing costs, you have utilities for the house, you have insurance, etc. And the longer that you hold the house, the more you're going to spend on that. And really, where I think home automation comes in, or just home technology period comes in, is helping you offload that house a lot faster. I think from a perspective of what technology makes sense, that all depends on, the market that you're in, and then, what you have from a budgetary perspective to play with. But just some ideas I think are good to think about is, so I'll start with the high end, right? So we work with a builder up in Bergen County, New Jersey, and he does a lot of spec homes, but really all of his spec homes that I've pretty much worked in all become custom homes before they're done. Because what he does is he does something to separate himself from the market. Obviously, he's building, his homes very well, from a detail standpoint, from a architectural standpoint, but so are a lot of other builders. One thing I think he does that separates him from everybody else is that he puts a home theater in every single home, right? These homes he's building are between 3,000 and 10,000 square feet. So in that size home, it starts to make a lot more sense because you have that basement. So he's just giving them a finished basement, having an extra room that becomes a home theater. He puts, seats in there, speakers in there, etc. So that when people come in, they're looking at this home, they look and they're comparing it to everything else that's being built, and they go, "Oh, I'm going to take his because it's that much better," right? And then before he's even taken it to market, he sold the home, so he gets to avoid a lot of the costs associated with that. Like he's able to pay his financing back a lot earlier. Doesn't have to pay for a realtor because he's selling it before it goes on the market and things like that. So I think it makes a lot of sense when you're thinking about the higher end homes or the larger homes where you're going to have that extra space or that basement that you can play with. In terms of like the middle to lower end market, I think you obviously need to be a lot more strategic in terms of how you're going to use this technology and really what you can spend to your home, right? And I think really for that, it becomes thinking about things like just doing smart door locks, right? Maybe something like that is enough, or doing a little bit of a smart lighting system, because at the end of the day, doing smart switches versus doing normal switches really isn't that big of a difference in terms of the cost. So Think of things like that. If you're more in the middle, like doing a surround surround audio within like the living room or family room and things like that, or doing maybe a few zones of audio pre-wiring for that within the homes, to then just say to people like, hey, you're probably going to do, they're going to, like, I've talked about this in another video, people are spending their money to go do this stuff anyway after they've bought from you. So just saying that, look, we've done it already, you're not going to have to spend that money there, makes people want to then just move in with you faster so that they can move on with the rest of the things they have going on in their life. I think it makes a lot of sense for flippers to really start thinking about this. I'm talking to people in New Jersey and New York about this all the time, and little by little, more and more people are starting to get it. But I think a lot of people here will see it and be like, actually, it makes a lot of sense as well. So I just want to really start getting the message out. I think home technology is going to take over in terms of every house is going to be smart. I've talked about this before as well. So getting in front of the market, I think makes a lot of sense in terms of just from a brand standpoint, but also from a monetary standpoint. So love to hear you guys' opinions on what I'm saying here. Can catch me in the comments, or as always, my contact information is up there. So look forward to hearing from you guys. Henry Johnson, Digital Home, and I'm out. Peace.